All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah. And a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. I'll start at 15, and it reads, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And I want to go into a lesson on the recent collapse of FTX. All right. And FTX is a crypto exchange. All right. And I want to read a few articles on it and show how this is a small piece to a bigger puzzle concerning the elites and their attempt to transition this system into a digital monetary system in which they have full control. All right. So without further ado, I want to start off with this first article from NBCnews.com. It says the FTX collapse explained. Wondering about the massive crypto debacle of FTX and its wonderkind former CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried. NBC News breaks down what happened and why it matters. All right, so let's get the basics. All right, this is what is FTX. It says FTX is a digital currency exchange, a platform where people could buy and sell digital assets like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ether. Such platforms rose in popularity in recent years as more people looked to invest in cryptocurrencies without the hassle of dealing with the technical side of such transactions, such as setting up a crypto wallet. How did it become so big? It says the company, founded in 2019, quickly rose to international prominence through a series of high-profile acquisitions, aggressive marketing strategies, and low trading fees. Competitor platforms include Kraken, Coinbase, and Gemini. So brothers who are into the investing, or at least have a working knowledge of investing, all right, FTX was similar to Coinbase, where you can sign up kind of like a Robinhood, but for crypto, where you can basically sign up and then you have the ability to invest your money into different cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this was one of those platforms. Now, we're going to get to the point to what actually happened, because the red flags aren't important. It already happened. We're just going to get down to the nitty gritty. All right, so it says you know what? Let's start here. A virtual bank run. All right, it says after Alameda's balance sheet was leaked, CZ Champing Zhao, CEO of the crypto platform Binance, a rival to FTX, announced on November 6th that his company would sell off all its FTT tokens. The price of FTT dropped sharply. All right, now again, Binance, all right, is a similar situation where they have a platform, all right, where they can allow people to buy cryptocurrencies. All right, as the price dropped, many FTX customers moved to withdraw their assets from the platform. Though the extent of the connections between Alameda and FTX were not yet public, a series of recent crypto platform collapses had already put the crypto community on edge. So basically what happened was a bank run. All right, they saw this big institution pull out of this platform, this app, and all of those investors got panicked and they went to withdraw their money. Now, this is where it gets sticky. All right, it says this. Those withdrawals would end up resembling a classic bank run in which people worried about a bank's solvency rush to get their money out before it runs out of cash. Billions of dollars poured out of the platform. On November 8th, FTX stopped allowing customers to take money out of the platform. So when you really go into this, all right, to make a long story short, what happened is they were taking the money that people were putting into this app and they were moving that money around to different businesses. I think the business in particular was Alameda. All right. Now, all of this is important because, again, Esau works through a Hegelian dialectic. All right. He works through a Hegelian dialectic, and that's pressure from above and pressure from below. Now, this situation is particular because, again, it shows the need for the government, all right, or governments, if you want to deal with the global industry, to step in and regulate cryptocurrency. Now, this is where the plan starts to unravel, or the plan starts to come together, depending on where you look at it. All right. Now, Esau, Edom, the elites have this all in the working. And this is one of those needed excuses for them to step into the crypto space and control it and regulate it. It's no coincidence that while this is happening, these digital dollars are being rolled out. These pilot programs for CBDCs are being rolled out. All of these things are happening simultaneously. And this is one of those things that's going to make investors who have actually lost money say the government needs to regulate this system, which is another step in the direction of the MOTB being made mandatory and regulated by the government. All right. Now let's continue. All right. It says what was not yet public was the extent of the connections between Alameda and FTX, or just how bad things had gotten for Bankman-Fried's companies. Those connections began to become clearer in the days following FTX's move to stop withdrawals, as would its financial challenges. Media organizations, including Bloomberg, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, and others cited anonymous sources saying that FTX needed $8 billion to cover the gap between what it owed and what it could pay out. NBC News has not verified those reports, and Bankman-Fried said in an interview on Monday with a Vox journalist over Twitter DM that he needed to raise $8 billion in the next 2 weeks to make things right with account holders. So basically they put their money in these accounts. And then what you end up happening is that the money in these accounts isn't really there. So when these people made a bank run, they made this bank run they made a digital bank run, and it turns out that the money that they had in the account was already being allocated and used for something else. And this is why he has to raise $8 billion. Because, again, these people invested their money into it, and he took the money that they invested and moved it to another company, one of his other companies. All right. And the banks are synonymous for doing this. This is why it's called fractional reserve banking, because they only are responsible for keeping a fraction of your money in the bank. This is why a bank run is always terrible for any bank, because they don't really have all of the money that is in those accounts on hand. OK. And the same thing is happening in this crypto space. And it's because this company in particular was basically misusing the funds. They were basically taking what people were paying and putting into their accounts and using it for something else. Now, the reason that this is important, again, is because this is going to usher in regulation. Now, I want to go over the basics of what this issue is about. All right. Why this happened, how it happened. All right. So we can get to the other side of this conversation through the spirit. All right. So let's go to this other article that I have. And it said, this is from zerohedge.com. All right. Lord willing, I'll be able to put these articles in the description. All right. So here we go. And this shows you that this is Esau Edom at play. All right. Now, check this out. I'm going to jump up. It says an alt take on FTX. What if it was built for this? Now, they're asking the question, what if it was always designed to do this just so that they would have a reason to step in and regulate? All right. So we're going to jump down to the alt take. All right. It says this, the alt take on FTX. There have been countless post-mortems published on FTX. A lot of them are very, very good. All come from the perspective that crypto has inherent value and fungibility, which leads to a common thesis that FTX found itself spiraling out of control and then did a lot of trades and acquisitions to postpone the inevitable, leading to a cataclysm. This view also prevents another way of looking at the situation. What if FTX did not find itself in this situation by unfortunate circumstances? All right, which calls to mind, again, the Hegelian dialectic. What if it was built for this? What if FTX was created to eat Ponzi schemes in the wild and deplete them of any actual cash they had, because the whole project was actually architected by those who don't really believe in crypto. It just had to survive long enough to eat all of the major Ponzi's in the space, extracting all the cash and paving the way for regulatory pushback. All right, it would go something like this: create a crypto exchange, become a market maker and mover, pretend to be U.S. compliant by having a placeholder U.S. presence, maybe make a stable coin, definitely make a market traded token, liquefy the token with dollars, target Ponzi coin projects with proven real world cash reserves, advance them liquidity via FTT, securitize the loans with their cash, extend their runways, allowing them to keep aggregating cash, wait for their collapse, take their cash, book a loss, and repeat. So basically, in a long story, making a long story short, they were showing, or they're proposing, that this wasn't an accident. What they're saying is that basically this was intentional. All right. And we know through the spirit that the elites are at play in these situations, because, again, the motive is to make the people ask for it. The people have to ask for the control. That's a part of the Hegelian dialectic. A part of that is making people ask you for what you are already going to give them in the first place. You just needed to create the scenario in which they will beg for it. Now, Esau's going to use this same type of Hegelian dialectic to make people take the chip, all right, the CHIP, which is the MOTB, all right? But this is one of those examples of how the crypto space, the digital space, if you will, is moving towards this same agenda. You had a lot of people who were saying that Bitcoin and crypto coins were a way for people to be free from the banking system, when all it was at the end of the day was a translation of physical banks to digital ones. That's all this was. And this is a gradualist agenda to get everybody to beg for the MOTB. All right. Now, inside of this, you can tell just from the moves that were made that these are Edomites, because, again, this is a classic scheme or a scam where people invest in this. All right. And then their money is being used for something else and they don't even know it. And it only gets discovered when everybody starts to rush and ask for their money. The same thing can happen easily with the banking system. And that's what happens when your money is set in a fiat system where it's not backed by anything and they can just print out any of it. How much worse will it get in the digital era where they can just put numbers in a system? All right. And this is why we know. All right. Let's go to Revelation 13. And I want to bring out the word for causeth all, because all of this goes back into prophecy. These are the details involved with prophecy. All right. So this is Revelation chapter 13 and 16. And the Hebrew word, or the Greek word, for causeth is
Strong's G 4160, poieo.
And it says to make, with the names of things made, to produce, construct, form, fashion. And in many occasions, they form crises. All right. They fashion a circumstance where regulation is needed. And then they are able to step in because the people themselves are begging for it. A lot of these investors are going to lose a lot of money as a way to have those same investors beg the governments to control this industry. This is why the CBDCs are coming out. This is why you see the pilot programs coming out. This is why the WEF is speaking on terms of digital money and passports. Because now we're getting into a place where they're about to roll out a completely new system that is digitized. And they're creating these scenarios using FTX in different situations to point out the need for them to step in and regulate it. The same situation is going to be used for the MOTB to be made mandatory. They're going to collapse this system to a point where people are going to beg for their needs, and their needs are going to come with a contingency. All right. If you want this, you have to do this. This is where the MOTB is going to be mandated. But this is a gradualist step to how that's going to be made possible. All right. Now, when you go in here, it says down here, it says to put one forth to lead him out. So this is how they lead people into their agenda. They create a crisis and push people into a direction. Through these crises, people are affected, and then they get pushed into these directions by begging for the solution. And the solution moves towards more control for Esau Edom, beginning with their elites. Because now we're in a system where it's not about racism as much as it's about classism. Meaning Esau is now taking the wealth from his own people. And he's using these spaces and these different areas, all right, to create the crises where they beg for it, and then it could be implemented. And once that control is in their hands, then they can really show their horns even more so than they're doing now. All right. And this is one of those easy plays. If you look at it through the spirit, it's an easy play, because there are people that are losing billions of dollars in this. All right. They're trying to buy NFTs and exchange it for cash just to try to get their money back. Because, again, the $8 billion that he has to raise is money that's owed to these people. All right. Make no mistake about it. When he says right here, he needed to raise $8 billion in the next 2 weeks to make things right with account holders. All right. A lot of these are the investors that are well off. And now they're $8 billion in the hole, and he has to raise that money. All right. Or he could possibly go to jail, because you're not supposed to take people's funds and use it in these type of situations. The banks can do it because they're in a fractional reserve banking system. But for all intents and purposes, this is illegal. All right. Which shows you that Esau's desire is as hell and is as death, man. But all of these things are necessary and needed for the elites to bring about the system that they desire. All right. Which is full control. All right. And it's beautiful through the spirit, because 2 or 3 years ago, people were looking at the crypto space as if it was a way to escape the matrix, as if it was a way to escape the control of this system. And all it's doing is playing into the system and being an asset for the transfer from the old banking system to the new one. And what you're noticing is that the government is colluding and starting to interfere in all of these different industries that people thought were free. Social media, and now the crypto space. This is just the beginning of the conversation of regulation, because eventually he's going to come down with great wrath. All right. Now, I want to bring this out. Now, this first applies to Antiochus Epiphanes, but I'm going to use it through the spirit, because these are things that Esau has done throughout different ages, and he's doing it again. All right. This is Daniel chapter 8:25. And through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. All right. Because that's going to be the MO. We need regulation to bring about peace, to bring about stability. And he's going to cause that craft to prosper, or at least he's going to try. All right. Because he's going to get to that doorstep where his plan is accomplished. All right. And then the Lord is going to hit him. All right. He's going to smite him while he's yet eating. All right. Let's get that in Job. This is Job chapter 20 and verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right. And that's going to be, and a lot of those are going to be Edomites. All right. Edomites who witness that their wealth is being transferred from the commonwealth of Esau to the elites of their people. And they're going to rise up in violent uprisings as a response to that. Verse 23 reads, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So the moment he starts to get close, where it looks like he's accomplishing it, where it looks like he's winning, the Lord is going to cast the fury of his wrath upon him. But all of these are the gradualist steps that need to be taken to have the people ask for that control. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to go into that through the Spirit. Salakia feels long-winded, but I want to explain that because, again, you know, when you look at the news, you see certain things, and when you dig into it through the Spirit, you start to see that these are just the details of prophecy. All right, this collapse is just another way for them to get their hands into another industry that they allow people to get into and trust so that now they can control it. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.